Hey, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We are going to create our patriotic arrangement. You should have received in your kit everything that you see here. I'm going to walk through those things. If you didn't purchase the kit, we still do have some left, even though it may be after the 4th of July. Patriotic season is usually all summer, so you have Labor Day still, all the things. I'm going to walk you through in case you just want to replicate this at home. Maybe you have some things laying around that you could put together and recreate in your own way. So I have a pot here. It is roughly a little 5.5 inches wide and about 6 inches tall. Okay, so 5.5 inches this way, about 6 inches this way, just so that you know for reference. I'm going to keep this in the tub because I'm going to keep this moss here kind of contained. Your kit included one of these blocks of foam. It's just craft foam. That's it. It's nothing special about it, nothing great about it, just one piece of craft foam. You're going to have to use some strength in this first step. You're going to have to use some strength. I did not cut off any excess. All I did was I put it not this way, but I put it up on end this way and shoved it down in now. There's a little lip in there that you are going to, get some resistance with. That's going to help you keep it in place. You're not going to see me use glue for a couple of different reasons. However, for you, if you are keeping this for yourself, you can do whatever you want. If you're selling this, if you've purchased with the intent to resell, which is totally fine, you do want to make sure you use some glue. Okay, so make sure you're using some glue. I'm going to skip that step for this particular design just because the kits that I have left over, I may next year do an in-person. So I'll want to be able to, redo that. So it's the only reason why I'm not, gluing. I will list this for sale. If it sells, I will glue everything in before I ship it out. Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. All right. So I'm going to take this, and I've already done this once already. So I've already kind of pushed it in, but that's what you're going to do first is you're going to take that piece and just push it in. Just push. Okay. Now, again, I've already done it, so it looks a little bit easier, but you're just going to push. Also, I'm doing this overhead on purpose so that you really get the feel of where things are going. So I pushed it in. Now, remember, I've done this a couple times. You could take your foam cutter and cut off the excess here. I've pushed it down in so far that that I'm not worried about it coming out. I really had, in order for me to get out the first time, I really had to pull it. But if you're doing this for yourself, if you want it to be secure, if you want to ship it, make sure you're taking your glue gun. Okay, make sure you're taking your glue gun. I can't get it out of there. And glue the corners here. That's the part that's really going to touch and get in. So glue those corners. Okay, you're going to glue those corners. The next thing you did, your kit came with a little bit of moss. You do not need a lot. You don't need a lot. You're going to focus on the outside with a little bit on the center. Focus on the outside with a little bit in the center. You do not need a lot. Okay, so we're going to do that part together, and then I'll get rid of this tub. The moss is messy. It's messy. It's messy. I don't know how else to say that. It's messy. So I like to try, especially if my workspace is clean, I like to try to keep it contained. Okay. So I'm just going to take the moss that we have and just a little bit and put it around, kind of really focused on the outside. Okay. Like, so that when I'm looking at it from the side, right, I don't want to see any of that white foam. Okay. Now, right now, you'll see a lot of that white foam, right, which is fine. But on the outside here, I'm going to try to make sure that foam is covered up. Take some from the center, kind of put it in there. Just perfect, just like that. Okay. Now, if you want to do a trial run before you glue everything in, by all means, absolutely do that. 100%. It is not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt your foam. I've done this now twice on that foam, and I'm still going to be able to get it in again, and everything's still going to be fine. The first thing I want you to know is this piece came originally on a piece of 3. It was a spray of 3. We only need 1 to go in our piece. So your ball might be blue or red or white. Your fern might be blue or red or white. So the 3-piece part had different color. They were different colors, okay? So your piece will look like this with all the pieces, but it might not be the same color, okay? This should be the same. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set this in there. This is gonna set our height. It's gonna set our center. It's gonna set the tone for the whole thing. Now, if you don't like this piece, if you're like, you know, you can omit any of this, but all together, these pieces are gonna fill your, let me get these out of the way so you can actually really see. All together, these pieces are gonna fill your pot. Okay, speaking of that, let's talk about your pieces. You have 1 of the spray, you have the pot, the foam, and a baggie of moss. Okay, you have 1 of these. You have 1 blue snowball flower. You have 4 red roses. 3 are the same, 1 is different. I'm going to put this one up here with the white snowball. I'm sorry, blue snowball, not in my colors. I'm going to take these 3 and keep them over here. I have 1 white rose. I'm putting that up here. I have 3 snowball florals. I have 3 petunias with a little tiny bit of yellow on there, and it's perfectly fine. Okay. In your other baggie, you have your red and white ribbon, your blue ribbon, a U-pin, and a zip tie. That's all in one little baggie. You have your 3-part stars. You have 3 of the blue allium. You have your Uncle Sam hat. You have your fun little festive, we're just going to call it festive. I'm not sure if the word for this little thing, what it's supposed to resemble, I'm not sure if that is an accepted thing or not, so we're just not even going to say it, but you get what it is. Nice and cute. You have 5 of these greenery pieces. Okay. And you should have 3 of these long stems, which you are going to eyeball and cut in half so that it looks like this instead of one long piece. So this one does not have the little, see how this one has the little berries on it? The like little chunk of berries. This one does not have the little, I mean, it does have little berries actually now that I look at it, but the whole thing does. So these are the long pieces, just the greenery, even there's 2 different sizes, but each one you're going to cut in half. Okay. So then instead of 3 pieces, you're going to end up with 6. I would leave them this long for a grapevine. I would leave them this long for a larger arrangement, but we're making this kind of compact. Not really compact, but kind of compact. So I need the smaller pieces. Okay. So cut those 3, losing pieces. Cut those 3 in half. And now we have 6 pieces. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's how we're going to start. We're going to start with our fun patriotic pick first. Okay. It's going to be the tallest piece. I want these sticking out of the top. These we're going to end up pulling down. So you see kind of sticking out on the perimeter. Okay. But this I'm going to see sticking straight up. All right, so we're just going to take it and put it right in the center. Again, you can dip your glue in. Okay, so right up the center exactly so it looks like that. Okay, in the center best as you can. Now, those 3 single pieces and 1, do this as simple as possible. I'm going to look for the longest piece that I have here, because remember they were 2 different sizes, and so they were going to end up being 2 different lengths. So let's see which one is the longest. This one looks like it's the longest. Maybe this one's the longest. Literally, you just need 1 piece that's the longest. This one might be the longest, okay? So I'm going to set those aside, take my longest and the 3 pieces here. Now, you may, I forgot, I took all of the greenery off. You may want to keep them if you want, if you choose, if you whatever. I didn't. I don't. I preferred not to have them. Now, that doesn't mean in the end I could have used maybe a couple to help me down in here to help. Let's just leave this one on just so that you'll be able to see. To help kind of cover the green, I'm sorry, the foam. So maybe I might keep 1 or 2 on, but I'm not going to put them up into my design. I'm going to let this greenery and this greenery and the blue allium greenery, I'm going to let that do some talking for me as far as greenery, because these, not my favorite. They're just not my favorite. But in this case, let's just, so that you can see, I'm going to push that down. Now, as far as length and how long to make these, this I want to stick up past everything. Some of that. So my first 3 pieces that I'm putting in, the blue, the white, and the red, those are going to stick around right around where I want the top peak to be. Okay, because I want these sticking out fun, right? I do. And as far as the design itself goes, because remember this is a kit, you can obviously add anything you need to, but this is a kit. So in the design itself, I need it to come down and fill in all the way through here, right? So that it's not empty. So in this design, I have the three single pieces, 3 single colors going up to the top, and then everything kind of coming down like a dome. Make sense? Okay. So, and I'm going to stick with 3 like a triangle. 3 like a triangle. The first thing I'm going to do is take my longest piece that I decided, and I'm just going to put that right in the center, right along the glittery piece, right in the center, right in front of it, directly in front of it. Okay? Directly in front. And then I'm going to take our 3 pieces and form a triangle. So here's what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Kind of up close. So it's keeping up to the top. I got lots of stuff here that I'm going to put in, but keeping them up close so I can fill in here and then work my way out. Make sense? All right. Now, I'll tell you for reference, okay? So I'll tell you for reference how long my wires are, okay? And I'm going to try to put them in maybe at least a ½ inch, sometimes even an inch. So that's how much is going to go into the foam. So this, from the tip of this wire to the tip right below the flower, where the flower starts, we're looking at about 7½ inches. And I'm going to go in a ½ inch to an inch. Okay. So let me just make sure those are about the same. Now, depending on the length of yours, that could vary, right? That could vary. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm just giving you a measurement. So I'm going to take my first one and I'm going to start by putting it in like in a triangle piece. So 1 back over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here. So nice little triangle started there. Easy enough. Okay. Easy enough. 1, 2, 3. Easy. Now, I want to keep I want to keep the build out coming. I'm going to start with, now I have red, I have white, and I have these blue alliums. I'm going to start with the blue allium because it has a lot of greenery. Remember I said put more of your moss out towards the edge, which I'll keep moving this a little bit so I make sure it stays, you know, where I want it to. Anyway, remember I said I put it out towards the edge and then the center will work on the center with all your other stuff. So this I want to come down and help fill in that center. Okay, so I already have a triangle, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take my blue, now this is how easy it is. I'm going to take my blue allium and go in between. Blue, blue, blue. Okay, blue, blue, blue. I'm just going to make sure that my blue allium comes a step down from the first 3 that I put in. Make sense? It's coming down a little bit. So for example, well, let me tell you how long it is. So from the, I'm not going to count this little part here, but from the stem to the blue allium is exactly about 9 inches. Okay. So that, remember the stem was about 7 plus the floral. All right. So I'm going to try, this is either going to meet or step down. Meet or step down. Okay. That's just a little bit step down. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Okay. All 3. 1, 2, and coming over here, 4, 3. Easy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Filling up really easy. Okay. Now I'm going to take the green. So we have 5 of these. Okay. 5 of these. I'm going to take the green. Yeah, I'm going to take the green. I'm going to take the greenery pieces and I'm going to start now. I have, instead of 3, I have 5, right? So I'm going to create another circle around the outside, just putting them in as balanced as possible. So if I put one here, again, it's going to go a little bit shorter than, because I want that dome to start. Okay, a little shorter than. And, oops, I'm putting it in sideways. That means there we go. A little shorter than. And so I don't want to put another one right here, right? I do want to space them out. So this is where you will have to space them out 5 as best as you can. Again, I want them to, like this little berry thing on the top, I want to be able to see them. They're a texture, they're an element. But also pointing out, you see how good that did in helping us move the moss so it stays covered on the outside. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with 5 along the outside. Now, some of those pokes might be going into the right to the top, and some of these might be going in like on the side of that foam. Okay. So as evenly as I possibly could, put them around the outside. Right? So what I mean is some of those stems are not going on the top here. Some of those stems could be going in the side, like down. So it's still, the stem is still coming up, but it's going in the side here. Okay, because that's kind of exposed in our design. All right, now you choose. You can go, oopsie. Well, actually, no, you're not going to choose. You're going to go red. Red is going to be next because we have those little red. We don't want to put them right next to each other. Okay, we don't want to put them next to each other. Ooh, I almost forgot. I did forget. Not almost. I did forget. Our little stars. Those got to go kind of near the center. Okay, so I'm just going to work my way in here, right up near that center. Just going to work my way in. Again, I want my stars to be kind of poking out here. Right, I don't want them to be completely covered. I want you to be able to see them up through the top. Perfect. Let's move these out of the way, kind of spread them all out. Okay. All right, so now I'm looking at what I have left. I have the red, the white, the red, more greenery, my Sam's hat, my little festive thing here, and my bow. So before I go any further, let's make our bow, because it's going to take up some space. It's going to take up some space, right? So before I go any further, let's make our bow. Let's figure out where I want it to go, where it might need to go, where I have space for it to go. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to call this my front, just where I decided. And on the front right, on the front right hand side, that's where I'm going to put my bow. Okay, so front right. Now, you can take your ribbon together at the same time if you want, or you can do them separate. So I took the blue ribbon and just put it on a slant. I put the red and white ribbon, folded it, cut to have a dovetail. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to choose to do them together because I like the way it looks together. So I'm going to put one right on top of the other. Okay, I'm going to go with a 5-inch tail. Okay, 5-inch tail. And then we're going to go with 3 tiny loops. 5-inch tail, 1, which is about 4 inches. So they're all going to be about 4 inches. So pinch, pull it apart there, twist them both together, loop, pinch, all together, twist together, loop together, and they might not be the same size, but that's okay too. Okay. So before I put the zip tie on, I'm going to kind of spread them out so they have movement already. Okay. I'm going to take our zip tie, put the zip tie on nice and tight. Here's where you may want to use a little bit of glue, regardless of if you're keeping this for yourself or if you're gluing everything in. If you're not, here's where you may want to use a little bit of glue because it's easier to keep the bow in place. Because what we're going to do is take our U-pin, and put it right through there so that it becomes a little pick, becomes its own little pick. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here just, oh, no, I'm not because it's off. Okay, well, we'll do our best for now. Oh, this is on, hold on. It's easier when you take your glue gun and do it. It's just easier. But I have a little bit of glue on the end, and I'm just going to literally stick it right on the corner edge. Okay, I'll show you where I put it. I put it right here. That's where I put it, right there, down in. Because that little lip here was kind of sticking up, so it was perfect spot. And then once it's dry, then I'll be able to kind of fluff that so that you can't see our mechanics. But then these will just come down, it'll fluff out, it'll be super cute. You can make them as big or as small as you want. Darling. You could just put one loop in there if you want. You could put no loops. I will say that the space of the bow is part of the design. So the spacing, the space that it takes up, the room that it takes up, the real estate that it takes up is part of the design. So keep that in mind as you are creating. Okay, so now we're going to go red, white, red, and we're going to fill in with some greenery and fill in with our extras. Okay, so now I've just created a front for sure. I got a front. This is my front. Whether it's going to be straight in the front, which I don't necessarily like. I do like it off to the side. Whatever you prefer is up to you. You can, if you're listing this and you're selling it, you can take pictures of all the way around and decide which one you like better. So I'm going to start with my red, and this was my last 3. So I put 3 in of these. So I'm going to mind my triangle. Okay, I'm going to mind my triangle putting in my next piece. So my next piece, because it's just easier. That's all there is to it. It's just easier. It's easier to say, I already have a triangle. Let me put my next layer in between that triangle. That's it. That's all. Okay, that's the only reason. So I'm going to take my next pieces, which are my, I'm going to start with the red, and I'm going to go in between my triangle and go down. Make sure, again, that I'm putting them, you know, down a little bit, making the stepping stone, kind of, bringing them down. Because I want to make sure it comes all the way and fills in all of this, right? So there's 1. Here's my other 2. Let me come back down here. Perfect. Here's my other 2. Let me come over here. Now again, don't forget to be gluing if you're gluing. Now, is that right by the red? Yep, doesn't matter. Nope, it's totally fine. Okay. All right, then from here, we're going to go with the, sorry. From here, I'm going to put in my Uncle Sam. Okay, I don't want him to get too buried. I'm going to put him over here, like off to this side. So I might move some pieces so I can get him in right where I want him to go. And also you may, I think this is the one that I've been pulling out. Yeah. You may want to add a little bit of glue on that stem and put it back in. Okay. Because if you're shipping it, that could come off. So add a little bit of glue there. But I'm going to move this so that it goes right up in here. Just snuggle it in. Right. And I'm going to take this little guy, and I'm going to come up right almost in the center. Okay, so before I put the rest of my greenery and the rest of my florals in, I want these pieces to be in so I don't lose track of them. So you could put it over here. You could say, oh, I want it to counterbalance my bow. You could put it up behind the bow. You could put it right in front. You could put it back here. But I always like, even though this is definitely a 360 design, I always like to have definitely a front. And especially, you know, if you're putting this on your table, like an outdoor table for a barbecue or something, definitely consider putting it in the back. That's totally fine. 100% totally fine. You're going to see this bow from almost all angles unless you put it directly in the back, right? Unless you're sitting directly on the other side. So you're going to see this bow from all the different angles. It's fine. So however or wherever you want to put yours, if it's yours, for me, I'm going to be selling it. So I want to see that little fun festive thing in the front. All right. So I'm going to come right up in the, kind of not in the bow, but in the bow. And I'm going to put that little guy right up in there. Just tuck him in. Just tuck him in, tuck him in, tuck him in. So it's just a little bit of extra flair, a little bit of extra fun. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with my white. Now remember, the triangle might be getting a little bit bigger because I'm working out towards the bottom, making a dome, right? So I'm going to go in between, my reds for my white. I'm just going to make sure that those little snowballs come right in between my red. Okay, 1. And I did leave this greenery on, just extra. It's fine. I don't mind it at all. I might move it down so that it's not like sticking up, but it was fine. So again, here's my other two. I'm going to come right down here. Again, pulling it down a little bit further. And then here's my other two. Those look a little bit closer together, but it's fine. And I'm going to bring this one. Oh, let's make sure my foam is getting covered and it's not that so when you put your pieces in, your moss might start going up in towards the center. Just keep an eye on that. Okay. So now we're building it out. We only have our greenery and 1 3 or 2-part petunia left. Okay, so I only have a little bit of color left and some green. So the first thing we're going to do is come in with some green. Oh, actually, that's not true. Let's go in with our reds again. And I'm going to go real close to the white. I'm going to go real close. I'm stepping out this way, right? I'm stepping out this way. I'm not putting it in line with. I'm stepping out this way so it can be a little bit further in. So these might definitely go on the side. Okay, they might definitely be going on the side. So I get that dome look. But I'm going to put it near the white snowball floral, okay? So I'm going to go right in so that the greenery part of it is almost like touching base with the actual piece. Or the actual, look how cute. Okay. So again, as far as measurements, depending on how and where you started, how long they were, how long it was, your measurements might look a little bit different. And actually, this is perfect. Okay, so lots of gaps at this point that my greenery is going to fill in. Now you see why I put that bow in, because I don't have to put greenery where that bow is, right? I don't have to do that. I need one piece right here for sure. Okay, and I may be able to, if I need to, I may cut this again, and I may cut it again. We'll see. So I'm going to put this one right in here because that's where it looks like it needs it. Right in the front between the bow and the red. It's where it needs it. Now I'm perfectly okay with all of this. Let's work our way around. Remember, I have 4 more pieces. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's see. Actually, though, I do think, you can do this if you want, you don't have to, but I do think I'm going to cut these so I have a little bit more, because I only need so much. I don't need that much as far as like how tall. So if I just put them in, filling in the side, I think that's going to be perfect. And I may need that extra. So keep your options open when it comes to this. Keep your mind open. Again, I'm pulling down that moss to make sure it's not exposing my foam. So I just put 3 little pieces in there, and I'll put 1 more, I think. So this was not difficult. We are talking triangle. We are talking triangle and spacing. Triangle and spacing. Okay. Look how pretty. We can clearly see we have a big open spot here. We're just going to go in and add them in. If you like this, if you bought this kit, or if you like this idea as a kit, let me know in the comments. I could possibly do some of these as a fall arrangement, or maybe as a Christmas, where we're giving you exactly the amount of pieces that you need for I might even cut this one 1 more. That one is in 3. I might cut this one 1 more so I can see if I can get There's one little piece up here in the front too. So I'm going to go over here. This is darling. I love this piece. So cute. Y'all, nothing to it. That's it. That's it. Nothing to it at all. It's so cute. Now, from here, I might decide when I'm looking at it, I might bring these down a little bit and kind of shape it a little bit more. If it's glued, you might not be able to push it in, but remember it's wired. So you have the ability to move it, shake it, you know, do whatever you want once the pieces are in. Maybe don't shake it, but you get what I mean, right? So I just want to look from the front to make sure that we're full. Spin it around, looks good. Spin it around, looks good, looks good, looks good. I might move the, oh, that's good. That was in a good position. There we go. So this one back here was kind of right up. This one was kind of right up on right here. So I just moved that into position so I had a little bit of color there. Nothing to it. I love this. I hope you adore and enjoy. For those of you who purchased the kit, thank you very much. I hope it was as easy as I was in my brain for everyone to put together. Again, I may do a in-person class with this next year, whatever we have left. I did put these kits together pretty late in the season, so, you know, I do have some left. Love, love, love the way it turned out. I hope you're following us, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, y'all.